Hi Jerin, how are you doing?
Yeah, hi Rahul. How are you? I'm fine.
I'm great. So Mr. Jerin John is joining us from South Korea. Okay, and he's going to talk about the exams and how he gained success. Okay, so you got 8 bands. So Jerin, what was the procedures you adopted?
Oh, it's like it'll take more than an hour, like an hour to discuss all those. But anyway, to make it very brief, I think there are like four modules in IELTS, as we all know, like reading, listening, writing, and speaking. And the module which I was struggling a lot was writing. And I gave exam before I took your class like twice. One was like the first attempt was like computer based, and then went on to try the paper based one as well. But my writing score still was at 6.5 in the both the cases. And I didn't know what to do, and there were like many suggestions that you have to write a lot. And I did write, but I don't know like how to evaluate the essays. I know few key points from the IELTS band descriptors, but it didn't help me much. That's the enough proof for my score. So what I did was like I got some opinion, and then figured out that I need to enroll for some class where with a person who can evaluate my writing skills and also the speaking skills. And that is how I ended up taking a course. And in the writing, yes, I think like you gave me a lot of essay topics, different types of essay questions. And so that helped me to gauge a lot of topic related vocabularies, and also like help me to like extend my ideas and like figure out a lot of topics which are not comfortable for myself to write, especially when it comes to arts or literature. This is quite dry, and my ideas regarding these topics were quite narrow. And your class helped me like to gather a lot of informations, and which converted that 6.5 to 7. And regarding speaking, you know that like I'm in South Korea, which is not an English speaking country, and I could speak English when I was in India, and my confidence level went to nearly zero when I was in when I'm in here, because it's almost 8 years and don't speak much of fluent English. And then in IELTS they look for fluency. That is the criteria which you have to meet. And in our classes you gave a lot of topics to discuss, and we keep conversing in English. That built my confidence and also helped me in exam. So these are the two places which I was struggling to achieve the desired band score. uh, and listening and reading also I had trouble with, because in case of listening, the computer based and paper based, the way the timings and all is quite different. In paper based you get 10 minutes at the end of the test to evaluate your work or like check your answers. And in paper based you don't have that time. So I had this confusion when I took the computer based test. For the listening and reading, I just like did quite a lot of practice tests from the Cambridge books, 1 to 15. And with the writing, like you used to give us a lot of materials like to gather ideas for various topics. Like I remember you gave an article related to food and diet, like healthy eating habits. So apart from that, you actually forced us to read news on daily basis, which a part of it helped me to, you know, improve my reading skills, and also help me in writing. So overall, I must say that like if anyone who want to achieve their desired score, I think listening and reading, they have to find the weak area which they are struggling, and then try to improve by listening various like news, read a lot of English related articles, articles which are written in English. And for writing, there is no other go. You have to write a lot of essays, which will help you to gather a lot of, you know, ideas and topic related vocabularies. And then definitely you need somebody to evaluate your work. That is the important part, because that evaluation help us to identify where your weak point, what is your weak point, and how you can correct or improve. So overall, yeah, you have to put quite a good effort to get that desired 8777 score.
Okay. So what kind of questions do they ask in the writing section and in the speaking section, if you could describe it? And what kind of questions you received?
For me, so I will first explain what I received for my writing and speaking. For writing case, it was an opinion essay. They talked about, they asked me, they gave me a prompt in the way that, though to speak or to learn a second language, one must visit the country which is being, which in which that language is being used. That is the only way. So the question said that is the only way a person can learn the second language, by visiting that country. And what is your opinion? And I wrote in the way that I don't agree with this, because there are n number of ways which you can learn the language. So I supported the notion by saying that, like, I supported in the first paragraph by saying that how, what are the benefits of learning a second language when the person is in that particular country. Like I gave an example, like Korea and Japan, where their language has a lot of honorific forms. They treat, or they discuss, or they speak to the elders and to the younger people in a different way. So honorific forms are quite important, and without that they will treat, they assume that you are being rude and not polite. So it's quite important, and these things you will learn basically when you are in this country. Of course, there is a mention in the textbook, but it is not being practiced well. So in that question, I gave these as an examples, that how important it is to visit that country and to learn, and then how you can get their culture and food habits, which is also linked to the language. So in the first paragraph, I just supported that argument, and in the second para, I just said there are other methods, like for example, online. These days, online coaching is quite famous because of Corona. And then another one is like a Udemy, which is a very good platform where people used to enroll for various courses, including language and other technical subjects, where they get training from the licensed or uh, well educated tutors. So I think that is another method. And then there are some language recognition softwares like Google Translate or other speech recognition softwares. These will help us to improve our pronunciation and stuff. So I just gave the second paragraph, which I supported, that this is not the only way, and there are other ways which we can do or learn the language. And then I concluded. So it was an opinion essay. And for letter, it was a semi-formal letter, because I have to write a letter to the manager asking for a permission to take some time off from my work, because because of the reason what they gave was I need to attend this family event. So I just said that my parents' wedding anniversary is coming and they are visiting South Korea, so I need to need some time off. So later it was like 150 words, yeah, and I could manage both the task within the time frame and above the required word limit. So this is the question which I received for writing session. And basically they can ask, there are a wide variety of questions they will ask in general for the writing. For the task two, there are opinion essays, opinion discussion essays, problem statement essays, and sometimes they give reason and cause, that is something related to problem and solution. And then can be a general essay, uh, some general statement, and you have to discuss about it. And that is one for the task two. And task one, it is just a letter which can be formal, informal, or semi-formal letter. And that was about my writing sessions. And for the speaking, speaking, the examiner asked quite a lot of questions, which I remember, especially in the part one, as he started with where do I what do I currently do, whether I do work or study. So I went on with work because I was doing work at that time. And then he built the conversation from work, then to relax, then what are the things generally people do for relaxing. And then I remember he was asking about work culture, like what should be the case, what is the appropriate method to compensate the employers in the company, and then behaving well in the public. So he asked a lot of questions which ranged from different topics. And then task two essay was something, task two was like part two was something about um, what did I shared with somebody, like recently, or like something which I shared, and what is the stuff, and what do you felt about it. So general statement regarding that topic. And I was talking about something, a book, a technical book which I shared during my undergraduate course, and how why did I do that, and what was the importance of, and what was the outcome of that, and then what was my emotions associated with that event. I could talk about like more than 2 minutes, and he followed up asking few questions regarding the task two, or like part two, and that is what I remember about speaking.
Okay, great, nice. So, how much did you score in every band, and what did they ask in the reading section? What kind of
Oh,
questions did
reading,
they ask?
I don't remember at all. Yeah, but to bring an understanding for somebody who is preparing for a IELTS, I think reading is mostly related, most similar to the Cambridge book one, mostly like 10 to 15. So if you practice, you get to know that what style the reading passages will be. So the first passage you generally spend uh, less than 5 minutes, because it will be mostly true or false or not given type, and then go to the fill in the blanks and the different type of other different types of questions. But basically, that is the pattern generally IELTS follow. So out of all these three tests which I took, I understood that it's the similar pattern which has been from the Cambridge book 10 to 15. It's also the same case with the listening, because listening also follow the same kind of pattern, which you can get it from Cambridge book 10 to 15. And I scored for listening and reading 8.5, and with speaking 7.5, and writing 7. So I got 6.5 initially for writing, but I was very confident that I wrote above 6.5. So I gave for EOR, and then the score changed from 6.5 to 7.
Okay, great. So, do you think that UR is going to support everyone, or it should be a person who is confident that he or she has done amazing work, and it's the examiner's mistake and not his mistake that he hasn't got the perfect score?
Yeah, this is a kind of a gamble. But so in my experience, I wrote before the third attempt, I did like got writing 6.5 in the both the time, 6.5, 6.5. And I believe that I didn't do some well for something. I didn't write something for 7. I was sure about this, and I did know you're at that time, but I didn't want it to spend money on EOR, because there is no point. My score is going to increase. When I received uh, the better score on the third time, and my writing score was 6.5, which I didn't expect. The reason is when I finished my test, I was very confident with my writing. The only module which I was little bit worried was the listening part. I was guessing that I just made a guess that I did mistake approximately like 5 or 6. If I have made a 6 mistakes, then I will not be scoring 8 in listening. So I was a bit worried about my listening, but fortunately that came good. When the result came out, I got 8.5 in listening. But the problem with writing was like I got 6.5, which I never expected. So I remember like after the test, I called you immediately because I was so happy that how I did my writing. um, so in earlier test I couldn't manage my time. In one test I just couldn't get a time to review my work. In the one test I couldn't even reach 250 words for the task 2. So there were issues with timing and also issues with planning essays, but when on the third attempt I could do manage my time very well. I wrote around 350 for the task 2 and 250, 200 something, close to 200 something for letter. And I got solid like almost 5 minutes to review both the tasks. And I did edit few things in my essays and also the letter. So I was confident that I will be getting at least 7, like a minimum of 7. But then I was not like I had confidence issues like will I be able to get it, because whenever I talk to you regarding this grammar, I had the issues, a lot of issues with the grammar, and you always say that I'm not ready. But that was my confidence problem. But then I thought like I gave a good shot here, let me give an AOR. I was confident, but also at the same time I was confused, should I go or not. And there was a little bit of a confidence problem, but somehow deep in my mind, somebody, I felt like somebody was saying like, you have done some good job in writing, just give a shot. So I recommend somebody who have issues like just writing or speaking. It's and a perfect score in other 3 modules. Maybe they should give a try with the UR. It depends. Obviously like both the modules, writing and speaking, they are subjective, and it depends on the person who is evaluating your work. So it can go up, or maybe it can be the same score.
Okay, but anyway, if you are done, you have done good. You can give it a chance, right? Because if
Yes.
you think that you are the best, then it's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
it's the point of the examiner, right?
Yeah.
Your mistake.
It's the
Right.
same story. Like my friend also did the same. He got a very wonderful score, like uh, 8 in listening, and reading around 9, and speaking 8, but writing 6.5. And this was the issue he also faced, and he just went on to give an EOR, and he also got succeeded in getting the score changed.
So confidence is a major factor towards success,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah. So if we have confidence, then we should go for it. Okay,
Yeah.
right. Okay, so what kind of writings did you practice, and how much connected do you think the writing and reading are? And do you think that science, arts, commerce, crime, and food and nutrition, or your internet and TV and censorship, these kind of topics are important for everyone to discuss, or something regarding robots?
I mean, it is better to cover almost all the topics, all the types, the subjects like arts, then language. Like for example, I was not interested in writing anything related to arts and language. If you give me like 10 questions, and out of that one is like regarding artificial intelligence and one is about robotics, then I will pick robotics because I know how to write. Like I know what to write in that essay. Like I have that like topic related ideas, which I will be able to manage to 50 plus words. But if you give me something related to language or arts, then it's quite hard. So I think that's your weak point, which can be solved by working on these kind of topics. Like for example, when you give me an arts related topic, you always told me to go and work or do research regarding arts. if it is something related to arts is important for the society, or the government should spend on arts, or they should spend on something else. If the topic is something related to this, then you always have suggested me to go and read why arts import is beneficial to the society, or what is it required, or how arts is contributing to the human for the betterment of human life, or like what exactly are arts, why arts is significant. So there are many of big articles out there, especially from Guardian or BBC, where you can read and you can get ideas. Then when you approach essays, you will be enriched with a lot these ideas, and you can structure your essays properly. So it's not about like writing the same topic like artificial intelligence on robotics over and over again. It is better to diversify the essays and the top essay types and topics, so that whatever question you get, somehow you can bring out all those ideas when you write.
Okay, great. And how much improvement did you witness in the speaking section?
Speaking, I remember my first test speaking was okay. Like I got 7, and in my second attempt I got 6.5. So I understood that I am in the border. So it can go zero point 0.5 down or zero point 0.5 up. So I wanted to like that is I wanted to improve, and that's why I took the speaking module with you as well. So my problem was I don't have any partners here to talk or converse in English. At the same time, I'm not using on daily basis, so I need somebody to focus on my speak, like to help or give me the feedback. What are the mistakes I'm doing grammatically, or what are the issues with my flow or fluency? So in the class, like you used to give a wide variety of topics, like regarding the work, or what kind of weather which I like, or explain about the sceneries which in my neighborhood or my home. So these questions made me to think, and then I started slowly picking up. My initial problem was part one. I generally it's the easiest part, but I become nervous. I don't get used to that. When I come to that exam atmosphere, I become nervous, and then I don't do well with the part one. And then once I got settled to that surrounding ambience, then I'll be okay. Then part two becomes quite easy, and then part three I will do quite well. So this part one, the issue with the part one, I don't know how to solve it. But then when we started practicing a lot of questions, I think more than 30-40 questions we practiced, and that helped me to gain my confidence, and I just jump when.
Just give me
So
1 second. Huh?
yeah.
Yes. Sorry, someone
Nope.
disturbed. Yes.
No problem. So the part one issue, I could solve it by attempting a lot of like questions. And personally, the speaking session was quite easy for me this time. Like that nervousness was not there, and uh, somehow it went on good. I got a good feedback literally from the body language of that examiner. So the only problem which I was facing, or like what I was confused with, was the listening, whether I will be able to get the desired score or not. Yeah.
Okay, great. So this time you got 7.5. So
Yeah. Yeah. 7.5.
7.5 out of 9 is kind of 80%.
Closely.
Seven
Yeah.
out of
7.
7 out of
Yeah.
9 might be 77%.
Yeah.
So it's both are above distinction. Okay. And how much improvement you got in the reading section this time?
Reading and listening, both. Reading generally, like I did academics like 8 years before, and three general tests. The reading score for the past three tests, including the academics, was like 7.5. There was no difference at all. It was just the same, except the last one, which I got 8.5. And the difference between that was like, so I did I have done similar kind of test in my high school. So that is why my reading was like 7.5. But the difference is, this time when I do make mistakes, I go and review why I did mistakes in that particular part. And then I analyze what kind of a question type where my mistakes are common, like why, like initially it was like true or false, but then somehow I could manage to do it in the way that I worked a lot of true or false questions, so that I got enough confidence in that particular question type. And then there was another one is like fill in the blanks. Some I make mistakes, so I worked on that particular question type quite a lot and then improved. That is the technique which I used in the reading, so which is quite overall it gave enough confidence during the test, and at the same time the score improved by almost one band. Because the reading, if you make one mistake, then you lose one band in the initial, like if you want to get 9, then you should at least get all the answers correct. If you're getting like 39, then you will become 8.5. So it's a point 0.5 band decrease can be observed in the initial first few mistakes, a few questions mistake, like 36, something like that. And mm, listening also something similar. I was struggling a lot with the listening because my initial listening scores were not that good, especially with the GT. It was like 6.5, 7.5, and then 8.5. And 8.5, again, like your contribution is still there because you gave me a couple of links to work on various accents, like New Zealand one, which is the toughest one for me to listen to, and then Australian and British, and then Canadian news. All these news, like help me listening to these kind of news broadcast help me to like improve my listening as well. So in the listening case also, I followed the similar strategy with the reading. Which questions are making a lot of mistakes, I worked on that part quite well. I didn't do a lot of tests, like a sample test or a practice test, because there is no point in keep doing the practice test unless you find your weak area. So this was a suggestion by many test takers in the online forum, so that also helped me. That is how the reading and listening worked.
Okay, great. And okay, the most important thing, that do you think after the writing section we have done, after the reading
Mhm.
section is done, after every section we should do some editing, go back,
Yes,
check whatever we have done. So we have to keep time for
yes,
that too. So speed matters,
yes,
and we should
yeah,
practice according to the timer.
yes.
Right.
But so yeah, well, I will tell you why the editing is important, because the essay task two essay was about language, second language, and I wrote language. So it's a computer based test I took, and I wrote language a couple of times in the essay, like maybe two or three times. So I got 5 minutes at the end to review. So I went on to review the task two essay, and I found that the language, the spelling of the language which I have uh, which I have wrote in the essay was wrong. It's a natural typo mistake, but that the typing mistake, which uh, if I didn't get that 5 minutes time, I would have made three spelling mistakes just from the language itself. So editing is quite important. That is why like a person who don't write enough essays will not be get used to that, uh, structuring their time, like 5 minutes of planning or like 20 minutes of writing the main content and then editing another 5 minutes. So this part will be missed if you don't practice enough. So but the 5 minutes planning can be saved if you're writing a lot of essays, especially when I took your classes. We wrote like 30, 40 essays, I remember. And you give you the in that particular exercise, you always give enough time to research. So I had this issue that like, oh, I don't have this much research time when I write, like when I appear for the exam, because exams you don't have time to look for the content. You just have the time to write. But because we practiced a lot of writing, what that gave me a lot of boost in terms of planning. I didn't plan my essay, I just started writing because the content started coming out, the idea started coming out naturally. Because all those essays which we wrote, that helped me to bring all those ideas into the paper or into the computers, like, yeah, computer screen. So I think if you write more, you get better ideas and you will structure your essays well, and you will have enough time at the end to edit or review your work.
Okay, nice. So I think our audience has gained enough information, right?
I hope so.
To get from the mode of professions out a bit. And if we can ask you that what kind of job you are doing in South Korea and what subjects you have studied,
I
what
did
are your what are your
so.
future actions, what you would do
Okay,
regarding the
so
graduation process?
okay, so I finished my undergraduate education from India. I finished a BE in aeronautical engineering. Then I came to South Korea for my master's program, and I graduated master's and PhD from the same institute called Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology in the aerospace engineering. And after that, I worked as a postdoctoral fellow for 1 year in the same institute, and then moved from academia to industry. I joined a startup company in 2019. It's called a Perigi Aerospace, where they focused on designing small scale launch vehicle for sending satellites to space. So was working for their propulsion team, primarily focused on designing and testing various engine parts, like rocket engine parts. And right now, like last month, I resigned my job and I'm coming back to India. Like it's been quite a long time since I am away from home. So I just wanted to have some break from the professional career, which I'm thinking about taking for like 4 or 5 months, because I have some personal family matters to attend as well. And then after that, as since I wrote IELTS, it's for my Canadian immigration purpose. So I will be moving to Canada in future, uh, because I'm planning to relocate slowly. If things are good there, I'll be staying there for a couple of years again, and then if not, then I will come back to India or like look for other opportunities outside. And I am not sure like what exactly is the future, but my current plan is to go to Canada and explore the job opportunities.
Okay, great. Okay, so since you are in South Korea, if you can inform us about some tourist spots where if someone is visiting
Yes,
Canada.
of course. Yeah, like there are many tourist spots. South Korea is generally a very small country. It's the size of the state Tamil Nadu, like less than the size of Tamil Nadu. And there are many sports, like, as you know, that like K drama and K-pop fever is almost like conquered the whole world. But in my opinion, that is not South Korea. South Korea is quite different from what they have portrayed in these dramas and K-pops. Um, uh, the landscape, they are quite mountainous. They have like 4 seasons. Summer and winter are quite long. Summer can be extremely hot and humid, and winter can be extremely cold and freezing and windy. And between there are two seasons which is like absolutely beautiful, which everyone one that's the best time to visit South Korea. First is like spring season. Spring starts with the onset of sakura flowers, like blossoming of sakura flowers, which is quite famous in Japan and also in Korea and China. And it will be like there are many sports which you can witness those events, and there are many activities which you can do during those time, and the weather is absolutely nice to do a lot of outdoor activities. So spring comes just after the winter, so a very long like much like cold weather, and after that you could able to go outdoor and do outdoor activities. That is the spring season. That is why spring is the best. Then right now we are having autumn, which is like it's end of autumn and starting of the winter. And this season is also quite nice because the leaves will turn yellow or red, and there are some mountains where you can do hiking, especially during this particular season. So South Korea is mountainous, and there are a lot of mountains in national park which you can do various adventurous activities. The the biggest one for Indians would be like Jeju Island, which is a volcanic island, with the island formed by volcanic activities long time ago. And you can visit. For us, it would be a fascinating place to visit because we have never. India don't have any active or like a dormant volcanic sites, so this place will give that new experience for anyone visiting. And there is a mountain there called Halasan Mountain, which is the highest in Korea. If you take a hike, you can complete it in one day. If you take a height like hike and reach the summit, you can witness that crater, that the crater at the top. And then there are beautiful beaches, Black Sand Beach, which is a rock pebble beaches, and a lot of water sports and activities. And Jeju is famous for its orange cultivation. And for Indians, you don't need a visa to visit Jeju. So it's before Corona, it was the case, but now it's closed for tourists coming from abroad. So when everything is okay, like normal, coming back to normal, then I think Indians can visit Jeju Island, just the Jeju Island without any visa.
Okay, great. So, from various dreamers and from our team, we wish you the best for your future and endeavors. And thank you so much for talking to us and
No problem, Rahul. Anytime, anytime.
recording your
Yeah.
experiences. We hope that you become an inspiration for others and they can.
Thank you so much for the help. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, buddy. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Uh,
See you.